Hello, good evening and welcome to Joy News Prime. We are coming to you live from our studios here at Kokom Limne in Accra. And we are live on DSTV channel 421, Go TV channel 125 and around the world on myjoyonline.com. I am Carlos Kaloni.
And I am Faustina Safo. Tonight, renewed chieftaincy clashes in Gbenyiri in the Savannah region leave a trail of destruction, with 9 dead and 29 others fighting for their lives and dozens more fleeing the troubled area to neighboring Ivory Coast for safety. We'll be live on the ground for update on an Emergency Security Council meeting underway in the region.
Also, West Africa Examination Council cracks down on exam malpractices in the ongoing WAEC, following fresh jaw-dropping figures from Africa Education Watch on exam fraud at the junior high level.
Also tonight, Narcotics Control Commission steps up strategic operations with detailed intelligence on drug trafficking as teen addiction crisis deepens.
And at 8 o'clock, Pius Kojo Baka will come your way with Prime Business.
Economist Professor Patrick Esumin calls on the Ministry of Finance and its quasi-agencies to work together in computing the country's debt stock to avoid misreporting of the numbers.
That in future more collaboration and then confirmation and rechecking and confirming that everybody is satisfied that these are the numbers.
So we bring you Prime Sports.
UAC Natural Health crowned overall champions at the Joy Sports Invitational.
Natural Health crowned.
Remember, Joy News is your home of independent, fearless and credible journalism.
Seat and please be our guest. In the heart of the Savannah region, the peaceful farming community of Gbenyiri has been shattered by violence. Renewed chieftaincy clashes have claimed 9 lives, leaving 29 others fighting for their lives. The roots of the conflicts run deep, fueled by long-standing land dispute that has pitted neighbors against neighbors. As the sound of gunfire and screams still echo, many residents have abandoned their homes, seeking safety in the surrounding farmlands or across the border in Côte d'Ivoire. The once peaceful village of Gbenyiri now hangs in limbo as the wounds of the past continue to bleed. Here, eyewitness account Jamal Joseph, who spoke to our correspondent in the area, Isaac Noya, telling us what exactly sparked this violence.
I was in Sola yesterday for a funeral, and during the process, we saw people running helter-skelter because of the fight that erupted at Gbenyiri. So I took time to also run away. Fortunately, where I reside is closer to the police station. I saw women and children just lying down on the floor crying. It was an eyesore. I couldn't take it anymore, so I also went off the scene. It was very pathetic yesterday at the police station when I saw women and children carrying their babies. Others were crying. I can't even say it.
Were there men among them?
There were no men. All the men fled, leaving their wives and children. And that's one thing that touched my heart that I pray should never happen. So we all plead that we should have peace in Gonjalani and also in the entire Ghana.
Well, speaking to Joy News before heading into a DISEC meeting, DC for Sola Tuna Kalba, Saka Sinkana said many of the towns have been abandoned and they are struggling to provide temporary shelters for the displaced.
I can say as relatively calm. As of today, the number of bodies have just been brought to the hospital as of now, and with so many people injured.
When you say a number of bodies have been brought, how many bodies have been brought?
Yesterday, 5 bodies was brought. Some are buried. Today, 3 bodies have been brought now. 1 is also on the way coming. Currently, 9 are confirmed officially, but the injury situation is about between those confirmed at the hospital are about 21 injured. Some in serious condition, some in a stable condition. A lot of people are fleeing. Some have taken refuge at the police station. Some are in their various farms. Some are traveling, leaving the towns. Most of the towns are ghost towns now, but majority are in the bushes, their farms. Others are crossing to Côte d'Ivoire, Burkina Faso, and what have you.
Well, the Savannah Regional NADMO Director, Zachariah Mahama, has confirmed to Joy News in an interview at Saula about his outfit's inability to send relief items, particularly water and food, to about 200 displaced women and children, both at Saula and Kalba Police Station. He said efforts are, however, being made to get the headquarters to intervene in the matter.
Headquarters, informing them about the situation, the conflict situation here, and the displaced people. And the headquarters has promised to respond very soon. But because we are already in preparation towards the spillage of the Bagre Dam. But all the same, I think that we are making a headway. I've just spoken also with the DCE for Sola Tuna Kalba about the situation and what we can do to mitigate the suffering of our people.
Does it mean that since yesterday up to now, nothing like food or water has been sent to them officially?
So far, as I said, I was not in the Sola Tuna Kalba district when the incident happened.
But liaising with DISEC.
Liaising with DISEC, for now, I haven't had any serious briefing on it because I just had a chat with the DCE. You know, we are having a joint RESEC and DISEC meeting. And so it's after this meeting that we'll see the way forward and what we can do to, for our people. But so far, for now, unless after this meeting that we'll be able to see the kind of immediate support we can have for our people whilst we wait for the headquarters.
Now let's take you live to the community for more on this, where our Savannah regional correspondent Isaac Nonya joins us. Isaac, thank you so much for your time. What's the situation in Gbenyiri as we speak?
Yeah, the situation with the presence of the RESEC and other security agencies on the ground. Over here, you could hardly see people with one-time free flow of the town being the witness. So that is not happening. The tense nature of the environment tells you that all is not well. Because after the both RESEC and the combined DISEC-RESEC meeting today, they have made a resolution, one, that DISEC, whatever they can do, to post on release items, especially food and water, to the displaced people. Secondly, Ghana Red Cross to try and make available tents to temporarily accommodate these displaced women and children. And also efforts are being made to get those who have run across Côte d'Ivoire to let them come back home for peaceful resolution of whatever has happened. Also, there is going to be a meeting between RESEC and the various groups in this particular conflict to see how they could listen to everybody and address the matter. Today, they have listened to some of them in the matter, and then confirming from the regional minister is that land has to do with all this thing that is happening. They said land is the trigger of all that is happening. Recognition and a respect for ownership and what have you is the cause of what is happening. And to them, what they need to do is to bring all the bodies, not just two factions, but all the groupings within the Sola Tuna Kalba, especially Kalba and then Gbenyiri, together to a RESEC meeting tomorrow to see how they can bring this into finality.
Right. We do understand the police have arrested some suspects. Provide us with details.
That is true. 6 suspects from both factions have been arrested with a number of guns, but the gun, the RESEC did not give finality, conclusion to the number they have picked. But you can say that 6 people have been arrested. My information is that they are most likely to be granted bail tonight or tomorrow because largely they are keeping them there because of their personal safety. Right? That's what they are saying. Unlike what their family are requesting for them to be released immediately. RESEC is standing on its stand by saying, no, we will release them very soon. But you need to wait and let us resolve whatever is happening before we can release them. But for the ammunition, they are not going to be released. They are being kept for the state.
Right, Isaac, thank you so much. We believe you still will be keeping your eyes on the situation there in Gbenyiri.
A tense municipal security council meeting is currently underway in Kwadasu in the Ashanti region in response to violent clashes between rival groups from the Nwamase and Kokodek community. The long-standing feud reignited at a funeral in Agric in Zima, where the two groups clashed, sparking disturbances that began on Saturday, August 23rd. Let's go live to the region now and speak to our correspondent, Nanaya Ujima. He joins us live with the situation on the ground. Nanaya, let's understand what actually triggered this clash.
So, Faustina, what we've been able to gather is that on Saturday there was a funeral within the Kwadaso municipality where these two feuding factions were both present. Now, we are unable to tell what actually happened, but there was a brawl between these two feuding factions. The police were there to halt them from the situation from degenerating. Now, after the police were able to maintain peace amongst the feuding factions, they were all sent to their respective communities. Now, the day after, the group from Kokode visited Wamase with some clubs and machetes, according to eyewitnesses, and they went into the community, and there was another brawl which ensued between the two factions, leading to the injury of one gentleman whose name has been given as Yima. Now, it's believed that the youth from Kokode went into Ima's home where they inflicted some machete wounds on Ima. He is now in critical condition, receiving treatment at the Konfano Teaching Hospital. Now, the information that we've been able to gather from the community is that there is heavy security presence within these areas. The police are there to ensure that there is no reprisal attack within these communities. But I can't say that people within these areas are traumatized. They are in fear. They are living in fear. They believe that there could be reprisal attacks, and they say this has been a long-standing feud, and it's about time that the Municipal Security Council makes sure that they deal with it. They find lasting solution to the problem.
And then, so far, any arrests?
Not yet. The police have commenced investigation into circumstances that led to these attacks, and if possible, try to get suspects involved in it. But unfortunately, as I speak to you now, there haven't been any arrests. Now, the information that I have gotten so far is that the Municipal Security Council, they are doing all that they can do to ensure that the people who are culpable for this particular incident are arrested. They are throwing more men on the ground. But we are still waiting for the outcome of the MISTEC meeting that is ongoing. And if they communicate anything, we'll try and put it before our viewers.
Thank you so much, Nanaya Ujima, for bringing us that update all the way from the Ashanti region.
Now, away from that, pressure is mounting on government to expedite the completion of the stalled Poalugu multi-purpose dam project as farmers in northern Ghana scramble to salvage their crops following the premature spillage of the Bagre Dam. Sonabel, the Burkinabe power company that manages the Bagre Dam, had initially scheduled this year's spillage for August 27. But due to rising water levels reaching 90.24% capacity, the release was brought forward to today, catching many farmers off guard. The farmers want government to see to the completion of the Poalugu multi-purpose dam project, which has failed to see the light of day 6 years after the previous administration cut short for its construction in 2019.
Farmers along the White Volta Basin at Poalugu in the Upper East region are rushing to harvest their maize prematurely in a bid to avert serious losses following the spillage of the Bagre Dam in Burkina Faso, which began today. The water level in the Volta Lake is already overflowing into nearby farms, which could be completely submerged in a matter of days. Some of the farmers have been speaking to Joy News correspondent Albert Sori, who met them harvesting their premature produce this morning.
3 days back, I was in the house when TV3 called on me, and I met them. And actually, we went around advising people to harvest because the water, the Bagre Dam will be opening around 27.
You went around with Nadmo?
No, we went around alone first, but Nadmo also came yesterday. to go around and see how. But earlier on, I've already gone around advising people to harvest their maize and whatever they have along the river banks.
The information reaching us is at 27th, but as we stand, the water is already flooding our farm, and we have to forcefully harvest our corn unripe, as you can see some of them. So we are just pleading on the government so that if they can come to the aid of all the farmers.
The farmers are also calling on government to revisit the Pwalugu multi-purpose dam project, which was initiated but abandoned by the last NPP government. They believe the project is the solution to the perennial flooding.
And in fact, every year round, the Bagre Dam gives us a lot of problems. Because if the government could come to our aid to build as the Pwalugu multi-purpose dam, as they were saying, I think it will help a lot.
Moses Adongo is assemblyman for Pwalugu.
The government should, as a matter of urgency, always inform the Burkinabe to split the water from June, July, then August, then they will have their level. But if they wait until it is August, that is the time we have the maize and the groundnut and the other crops getting ripe. But sometimes they are not yet ready unless September, middle of September and end of September. Therefore, when it comes, it has given force and pressure to everybody to harvest unripe crops, especially the maize.
Head now to Tamale. Our Northern Regional correspondent Martina Bugre-Jones is live with more. Martina, how are community along the white voter, and especially in that region, bracing themselves for the effects of this spillage?
Now, what we have been told by farmers is that they started the sensitization earlier, so they are aware that the dam is supposed to be open, but they actually thought it was going to be open on the spilled on the 27th instead of 25th, and so they are waiting for 27th. But now that it started, what they are saying is that they started moving their belongings, especially those who are very close to the banks of the White Volta. They've started moving their belongings to safer places. And those who have farms around these areas and they planted earlier have also begun harvesting. Those who planted late are throwing their hands in despair. They are just hoping that not too much volumes of water would come in that will take their farms. And so that's their prayer. So we must say that most communities are preparing, just moving stuff they can to higher ground. And now in the Kumbungu district, for instance, we are told that normally anytime they spill, over 10 communities are affected. And that's where the region's water pump is. The Dalon treatment plant is in Nawuni. And so every year when they spill, its effect is not just in Dalon, it transcends Dalon because they are unable to supply water to the entire greater Tamale. So that's how difficult anytime this spillage comes, it affects people in the northern region.
And so far, how is sensitization going, especially on the grounds, to get everyone on board before it reaches its peak?
We are being told that assembly members in the various districts have been tasked together with NATMO to do this sensitization. And we are being told that they started it earlier. And so information has gone around that the spillage is taking place and people are aware. But people are unable to, some are unable to move because that is where they are known. That is the land they have lived on.
Okay.
And so they will definitely be there until the water arrives. But that is the case of what will happen. Some people will be able to move, others will stay until the water arrives, hoping that it never comes, but it comes anyway.
Thank you, Martina.
Now, away from that, the West African Examinations Council is taking drastic steps to curb cheating after a shocking surge in exam malpractice cases at the Basic Education Certificate examination. Now, according to Africa Education Watch, irregularities skyrocketed by 114% in the 2024 BEC, sparking fears of a credibility crisis. Now, with the WAEC underway, WAEC is bolstering its monitoring efforts to ensure the integrity of the exams. And you see the BEC statistics with regards to gender breakdown for the 2025 exams. 297,250 males are taking part in the exam. And you see more females, which is at 306,078. There are more females than males. It stands at about 8,828. Now, let's look at the BEC statistics, the cancelled result, the trend over the years from 2020 to 2025. You see the 2020 figure, which is about 461, and all the way to 2024, it stood around 422. But between 2024 to 2025, you see the figure there, 895. Now, this is also the number of candidates whose results have been withheld over the years from 2020 to 2025. In 2020, we had 977, 2021, 257, 2022, 49, and 2023, 296, 2024, 36, but in 2025, 1,333. Now, some malpractices causing cancelled and withheld result. First, possession of mobile phones in the examination hall, possession of foreign materials in the examination hall, collusion among candidates. Now, what the trend implies means that 1, control measures briefly reduced malpractice, but weak systems cause a sharp rebound. 2, WAEC may have improved efficiency in detecting malpractices. And they've done some recommendations to curb the malpractices. The first one is to enforce strict accountability at schools to curb the malpractice. 2, to sanction or prosecute officials involved in malpractice and make outcomes public. And 3, intensify collaboration among the Ministry of Education, Ghana Education Service, WAEC, and National School Inspectorate Authority to enforce exam protocols and accountability of school heads to exam malpractice to avoid a repeat of this worrying picture in the 2025 WAEC.
Well, concerns over rising examination malpractice in the ongoing 2025 WAEC have deepened after an invigilator at Forces Senior High Technical School was caught with questions from subjects, including oral English, on his mobile phone. Now, the incident comes as WAEC steps up efforts to clamp down on students and teachers engaged in the practice.
2025 WAEC progresses, concerns are mounting over the rising cases of examination malpractice. On a tour of some examination centers with the WAEC delegation, the national head of WAEC, Dr. Mrs. Rosamond Wilson, explained that the surge is more visible this year because stringent measures have been introduced to clamp down on both students and teachers involved in the practice. At Forces Senior High Technical School, an invigilator was found with a mobile phone. Upon further questioning, it was discovered that his mobile phone contained questions from subjects including picture making and oral English. The phone has since been confiscated for further investigations.
One invigilator was in possession of a mobile phone, and the invigilators are not supposed to take mobile phones to the examination hall. So we have taken the matter up and we will deal with it. The mobile phone had a write-up of it had some of our questions for the previous exams they have written, like picture making, English orals. It had some of those questions on it and also answers to the questions on it.
Touching on the recent release of the BEC results and concerns raised by parents and teachers over students' performance, Dr. Wilson dismissed suggestions of any challenges. She emphasized that the results reflect exactly what the candidates produced, stressing that both the syllabus and the marking scheme were without fault.
The same curriculum that we use for BEC, which we obtained from GES, was used, and the questions were from the same syllabus. So there is no reason why it shouldn't perform well. but maybe because of the way they learned for the exam.
Now we'll take you to the Ashanti region, where schools have been turned into high security zones as administrators tighten measures against malpractice in the ongoing WAEC. At TI Ahmadiyya SHS, officers are shut, vendors barred, and exam perimeters sealed, with only candidates and selected teachers allowed inside. The move follows WAEC and GES's warnings that any malpractice, especially by teachers, could lead to dismissal. Clinton Yeboah has more.
In regions like Ashanti region, malpractices have notably increased, prompting GES to express serious concern over the trend. Schools who are stakeholders are reinforcing exams protocols and upping supervision to curb cheating practices. Assistant Headmaster of Academics at TI Ahmadiyya, Henry Edem Dente, says the school is resolute to prevent any interferences.
Yeah, a lot of measures internally that we ourselves we put up. We selected special teachers who help us with searching the students before they enter the examination room. Some restricted food vendors, all offices in the school are closed. Yes, so that, and other students are also restricted so that nobody will interfere with the exams. We carefully also selected our invigilators, and we did series of briefing for them so that we are all prepared for the exams. We have to encourage the students so that they do their best. We are hoping that when they sit up and they study, yes, they will produce the desired results that we all expect.
Meanwhile, student absenteeism has become more apparent as 13 students of 2,125 candidates writing at the TI Ahmadiyya school have not reported without official communication.
We are using 4 different blocks or centers for the examination, and we have recorded 13 students who are absent. 7 of them are males and then 6 of them are females.
About the absentee students, have you received any official communication as to why?
No, we only know of 2 students who traveled after the registration, but the rest we are yet to find out.
We know that the exams is in its second week. Have you identified any setbacks so far?
No, all along everything has been smooth. This is the first written core paper, yes, and so these absentees were realized only today. But the practicals, everything has been smooth so far.
For Joy News, my name is Clinton Yeboah.
Let's head now to the Central Region, where the Deputy Director General of GES, Professor Smile GC, has warned WAEC candidates that any malpractice will attract severe sanctions. Touring exam centers in Cape Coast, she stressed GES's zero-tolerance policy and reminded that schools they must ensure that they have stayed through to the undertaking they signed, keeping the institution free of malpractice. There's more in the following report.
Last year, 43,966 candidates sat for the WAEC in the Central Region, comprising 20,403 males and 23,563 females. This year, however, there has been a slight decrease in the number of candidates. On a tour to WAEC centers in Cape Coast, the Deputy Central Regional Director of Education, Harriet Odra Aidan Sego, gives the regional breakdown for WAEC 2025.
So in the Central Region, we have 75 schools, and in total, we have 41,421 students in total. Out of that, we have 18,611 boys, making 44.9%, and 22,810 girls, making 55.1% of the total students. No, there's been a decrease. Last year we had 43,916. This will be the slight difference. We have sensitized parents, we have spoken with the general public, and our regional monitoring team has been going to the schools. Every week they visit about 3 schools. They have also been sensitized.
Leading the delegation, the Deputy Director General in charge of management and service at the Ghana Education Service headquarters, Professor Smile GC, emphasized that there will be no tolerance for examination malpractice this year, sharing measures instituted by the service.
The students turn out very smartly and in high spirit. We are very happy and impressed about what we have seen. We also retreated the message from the Honorable Minister of Education and Ghana Education Service that this year is zero tolerance for examination malpractices.
He also commented on the calendar for next year's exams and the October 18, 2025 reopening date for first-year senior high school students.
The calendar put out there next year was, by God's willingly, will be in April. So we have come out with series of arrangements. There's going to be online teaching. There are going to be full engagement to make sure that our students are well prepared for next year WAEC.
From Cape Coast, Abigail Lesol in Nkrumah reports for Joy News.
Well, you're still watching Joy News Prime with me, Carlos Kaloni, and of course,
Faustina Saf. We'll be back after this quick turn. Please stay with us.
In regions like Ashanti,
Welcome back from the break to other stories now.
Now, the Ministry of Finance has revealed that it has interdicted the staff of the Comptroller and Accountant General's Department for alleged involvement in payroll fraud. The staff in question has been cited for allegedly delisting a teacher from a controller's payroll after the teacher refused to pay him bribe. James Aveji has the details.
The matter about non-payment of some government workers, especially teachers, due to non-validation came up at the Public Accounts Committee, where Chairperson Abina Osasari raised concerns about how the phenomenon has become a bargaining or punishing tool for some superiors in the educational sector.
Sometimes it's a genuine mistake from the validators, and sometimes too, it is a way of some of the heads showing teachers where the power lies. And it's very, very painful. Since Friday, we've had a lot of these reports. It's very painful.
This is the Comptroller and Accountant General, Kwesi Eje's initial response.
Because they validate, they are in the district, they are in their offices, and they will determine that this number of people deserve to be paid. So if for one reason or the other, they don't validate you, then it's the same process, it's the same validators and institutions that have to go through the process to validate you for us to pay you. We cannot, as controller, pay you if the validators haven't validated you. So these are some of the challenges that
when they bring.
It was on the back of this that the Deputy Finance Minister, Thomas Ampinyako, made a revelation that the staff at the Controller's office is currently under investigation over a similar incident.
There was one that went viral recently about someone who complained that I think a teacher also name was taken off the payroll. Somebody assisted him to get it on, and the person was demanding a lot of money from him. Because he did not pay, they went ahead and removed his name from the payroll. We have taken serious view of this, and it is being investigated. Fortunately, Controller knows the person in the Controller office who activated, who deactivated, but a lot more information need to come out for us to know what really went on and for the appropriate punishment to be meted out. And so the Finance Minister takes serious views to some of these things, and he's asked that we have an in-depth investigation into it. We will apprise the general public of whatever the outcome is.
On the part of the Finance Ministry, they have been referred to the Attorney General for prosecution over procurement breaches. According to the Auditor General's report, the ministry awarded 3 separate contracts worth 1.3 million Ghana cedis to 2 hotels to provide services during the drawing of the 2024 budget without approval from the Public Procurement Authority. When Ghana Revenue Authority appeared before the committee, the ranking member, Samuel Atamels, asked that the authority furnish the committee with a full list of all debtors who owe millions of cedis in tax and how much has been collected so far. The GRA boss, Anthony Kwesi Sapon, says they have collected a chunk of the debt and will explore every avenue to collect the rest.
On the whole, we assure the committee that we are taking strides and taking all the actions to recover all the amounts that taxpayers owe. And as you may witness from our engagement with the committee, we have done tremendous effort in terms of the report that we presented to them, achieving greater strides in recovering the taxes, and we also assure that the remaining amounts we continue to work with taxpayers and collect it ultimately to collect the revenue for national development and in support of the President's vision of resetting and building this nation.
Although the committee was originally scheduled to end this session on Wednesday, August 27, it has ended this Monday. Adjourning to September 29, it is unclear what the reason is. James Sabeji, Parliament House, Accra.
Away from Parliament, Ghana is considering a new law to allow cannabis cultivation for industrial and medicinal use. The Narcotics Control Commission says the move could boost research, exports, and economic growth. But as the debate unfolds, the story of 23-year-old Veronica, not her real name, highlights a darker reality. She is battling addiction at Confanoche after being introduced to hard drugs by her boyfriend. Health workers warn she's not alone, with teens as young as 13 caught in the crisis. In our latest Hotline documentary, Deadly Doses, Nana Boachi Yadum reports.
Veronica, not her real name, is one of the addicts receiving treatment at Cath. She got hooked to drugs after her ex-boyfriend introduced her to it in Accra. Under the condition to keep her identity anonymous, she tells me how it all started.
It was through my ex-boyfriend. I was at Accra, and he was also a driver to one politician, so like the girl was having money, so anytime like I go there, we feel like we're having sex, just want to get high. And when I started with cigarettes. That's for more white, not knowing like you just mix the cigarette with the drug. So anytime I just take the cigarette, it look different. If I just get out from that side, from her side, I go and buy myself my own cigarette, that more white. I take it, the taste also looks different. So one day I asked him, what's inside the cigarette that I used to give him? He said, oh, it's this. It's cocaine. It means I took it for 2 years.
In a very sober mood, she admits that the recovery process hasn't been easy.
Hey, suffocation. Let me say so. The way I'm suffering, you can ask the madam, the doctors, and the patients around here. I don't sleep at night. And even there's some fusion, if they put it on me, I will cry throughout before the fusion will just went up. It's like there is a sore inside my body. So anytime the fusion gets to my body, then it just starts to itch me.
Kenneth Edukwachi is a pharmacist in Kumasi. He explains the essence of drugs such as opioids and how it leads to addiction.
Medication that are given for moderate to severe pain. Yes, so after the person is done with, let's say, the pain management, when you are taking opioids help with the release of something called dopamine.
We'll catch a full Hotline documentary, Deadly Doses, at 8:30 tonight here on this channel. And Deputy Director General of Enforcement Control and Elimination at the Narcotics Control Commission, Alexander Chum, very much speaking on the AM show, cautioned that the Commission continues to face challenges, particularly in funding raids on pharmacies and over-the-counter drug outlets that illegally trade in cannabis and other controlled substances.
We are bringing up a law that is going to permit the planting of cannabis, but here people should listen carefully. The planting of cannabis is not for recreational purposes. It is for medicinal and industrial use. And even with that, the THC level that we are permitting by the law is 0.03. So anything beyond that, you have us to contend with. And even with that, we are making it a very strict system. Some people don't agree with whatever we are doing, but we know why we are doing that, because we have studied the system. We know that if you give somebody an inch, before you realize the person is taking like 10 years. So you have to always block any possible loopholes so that you don't get into a problem. That because you've legalized, because you've permitted, the planting, it now has been spread across all the length and breadth of the country, and that every other person is using it. No. So even with the planting for medicinal and industrial use, if you want a license, you must show that you have an off-taker. And that off-taker is ready to take your produce once you are done thoroughly. But we run an intel-led operations. So when necessary, we strike you. Sometimes it will look like we are not aware that you are doing these things. So in your mind, you will think you are free. But what you don't know is that every step of you, we are aware. Our K9 unit is centered only in the HQ.
Well, Carlos, at this point, I have to let you go. Oh, Carlos will have to let us go.
Well, welcome back, and we'll take a short
break.
Thank you, Carlos. Showbiz. Stay with us.